Last night, the jury in the Jussie Smollett trial reached its verdict. The actor found guilty on 5 of the 6 counts that he faced. He could get 3 years in prison, but it's expected that he'll probably get probation. The defense and special prosecutors are expected to meet January 27th to discuss a sentencing date. But Smollett's legal team is saying this verdict will be overturned on appeal.
Judicial process, we respect the jury process, but we feel confident we'll be back here. There was so much doubt in this case, and doubt because he is absolutely 100% innocent.
Smollett didn't comment on the verdict as he left the courthouse. He is out on bond until his sentencing. Now, joining us to discuss the case is attorney Steve Greenberg. Good morning to you. Thanks for joining me this morning, and it's good to see you.
Good morning.
So Smollett found guilty of 5 disorderly conduct charges. The jury clearly did not believe his story. What happens to him next?
Well, a couple of different things happen. First of all, his attorneys have to file what's called a post-trial motion. They have to point out each and every error they think occurred in the process, whether it's pretrial motions being denied, evidentiary objections being overruled, or as they said yesterday, they think the verdicts are inconsistent. Parallel to that, there will be the process of a pre-sentence investigation report where someone does an interview of a Smollett, family members, assembles letters and so forth, and then prepares a report for the judge in terms of sentencing. I fully expect he's going to get some form of probation, maybe with some community service or something like that. Now, I note that his attorneys said that the verdicts were inconsistent, and they are inconsistent because in one count they found him not guilty, and in the other counts they found him guilty. And to the average layperson, he's either a liar or he's not a liar. So how could you say only lied sometimes? But in Illinois and under Illinois law, you can have that. You can have a jury find you guilty of something and not guilty of something very similar, and that's okay as long as it's factually inconsistent.
Okay, so let's talk about that, because he's saying he's still maintaining his innocence. His attorneys are saying this will be overturned on appeal. What's the likelihood, after everything that's happened, that this could be appealed and that he could get off again?
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen all the pleadings. I obviously wasn't sitting in on the entire trial. Judge Lynn's a pretty smart judge, very careful judge, so I'm sure that he made sure that all of his decisions in the case had good legal support. This case is, I don't want to use this, it's a toxic case. You know, appellate court justices are human beings. They're going to look at this, and unless there's something that's just outrageous that occurred, I doubt if they're going to have the courage or the desire to reverse this case and be the people who say that they did it.
Interesting. So, okay, some are saying, though, that since Smollett testified that he exposed himself to jail time, why would that be the case? Is it because the jury convicted him, meaning they believe he lied on the witness stand? And that's where that whole perjury question came up. Did he put himself at more risk for that?
Well, he's never going to get indicted for perjury. No one gets indicted for perjury. And just because the jury didn't believe you doesn't mean that you necessarily perjured yourself. They would literally need to do the entire trial again and convince the jury at a perjury trial of the same facts. A judge will take into account at sentencing whether he believes that a defendant not only failed to express remorse, but lied on the witness stand. That's probably the most aggravating thing a defendant can do when it comes to sentencing, other than maybe commit another offense or deny responsibility for the crime. So had I been representing him when the verdict came in, we would have said we respect the verdict. We understand the jury has spoken. We think there's issues. If he continues to vociferously maintain his innocence, then he runs the risk of alienating the judge, and the judge may be giving him 30 days in the county jail, which I'm sure is a result he wants to avoid.
Yeah, a lot of people have been talking about the steadfast saying I'm innocent and almost arrogant to a point.
Well, we have to understand that there is the law, but the law operates in a system of reality. And you know, the decisions are ultimately made by human beings. So people are influenced not just by the law when they're making a decision, but what they perceive of somebody and the reality of the situation. So Jussie Smollett and his team need to tone it down. They need to be respectful, and then they can continue to fight their fight.
Okay, finally, this case has been years in the making. It gained worldwide attention. It put Kim Foxx in the spotlight, probably made Jussie Smollett a household name. Some people think there was way too much time invested in prosecuting him. Was this worth it?
I don't make those decisions, and I don't think I'm the right person to say whether it was or it wasn't. I think if he did this, and again, I don't know all the facts, but if he did this, yes, they should have prosecuted him because of the resources and the message and the deterrence effect maybe on someone else. I don't think you want to let people get away with lying to the police. People certainly don't have to talk to the police, but I don't know enough about it, and that's a discussion for the pundits, and I'm not one of those.
Okay, well, Steve Greenberg, we appreciate your perspective this morning. Thanks so much for joining me. As always, we appreciate your time.